Virginia. Beth had sent me a message about 2 days ago, asked me if I wanted to go do this trip down here. So yeah, I'm in Virginia, and we're going to be doing what's called the Mount Rogers and Appalachian Trail loop. It's supposed to be like 20 some miles, but we're going to add on something extra. So Beth has that all figured out, what we're doing. We stayed up here last night at what's called the Hungry Mother campground down here in Virginia. So it's not too far to where we're going to start the hike, and we're going to go drop off a beer drop on the way there. And we stayed here last year at this same campground. This is called, I believe this is the Royal Oaks campground part of it, of the Hungry Mother State Park. So let me show you some of the things they got here. So each one of these campsites there, you have to make reservations, but they all have these wooden platforms. They all have picnic tables and fire rings. I just noticed there's a bear box over there. There's a couple yurts, at least one yurt there. Bathrooms are over there, and there's garbage cans. Nice and heated bathrooms. They have showers over there. Beth stayed in her car setup. She has Schutzen with her, again, for this trip. And so over here, Beth had this thing here, because I was just going to sleep on the floor of this platform like I did last year, and just put a tarp over me. But Beth bought this thing on Amazon for like 80 bucks. It's huge. You could put a whole picnic table underneath there, but you can also, it has like these things you can run a hammock straps through here and just hang a hammock inside there too. But I just stayed on a sleeping pad last night. Real quick, I forgot I wanted to mention that we are at site number 8, and this platform here has these 2 trees coming up through it. It's a bit of a stretch, but you could definitely hang a hammock between these 2 trees. You gotta see this road. We're on our, we got 4 miles of this to get to the where we're the beer drop. It's been like a ride at Kennywood. And this is the least rocky part of it right here. I should have filmed some of the earlier parts. This is just crazy. There's 4 miles of this. The guy just came down in the Jeep the other direction. He said it was passable.
He was in an overlanding Jeep. He's like, oh yeah, you could drive it.
Look at this. This is the road. It's a creek. We're under 2 miles to the drop. And I didn't realize that after the drop we gotta turn around and come back before staying 4 miles to get back to the paper.
Oh shit, dude.
Bridge crossing. So as you can see, Virginia Highlands Horse Trail. The road continues over here, but we're not gonna mess with the gate. It looks like there might be an outhouse or something up there. This kind of reminds me of Dolly Sods a little bit here. Beth is gonna go ahead and do the beer drop over there, because we're only a few hundred yards away from where we're gonna be passing on tomorrow, and we'll pick that up tomorrow. The Scales Campground is where I think we're headed up to. It's called the Scales Campground. This is the most intense beer drop I've ever been a part of.
Oh shit, dude. I'm like sliding going downhill here.
Looks like we're in some Bolivian jungle road. Even though Beth said that she saw videos of people bringing like sedans and stuff back here, I would definitely not try that. Still bottoming out. There's the main road right there. So that took us almost 33 minutes to go 4 miles.
Yeah, if you can't do this beginning part, don't go any further. It's not going to get any better.
All right, we made it to the trailhead. Pretty busy out here. This is Friday, Memorial Day weekend. And we're going to be coming back from this direction, I'm pretty sure. So this is Route 603, I believe, here. I'm assuming this is damage from Hurricane Helene, I think it was last year. Came through here. There's a lot of trees down. There's some other hikers we know are coming through here tomorrow. They're starting tomorrow, so we left them this note here. But we're not signing it, so they won't. So they're going to have to guess who it's from. We're going to be going through the Lewis Fork Wilderness into the Grayson Highlands State Park, where the wild ponies are at. So we should definitely be able to see some of the wild ponies. And today we should have about 7.5 miles, I think, to get to camp. Coming into Lewis Fork Wilderness. Just hit the 4-mile mark. There's a little spur trail leading off up to the top of Mount Rogers right here. When we made the left back there at that Y, started coming up here. I didn't see any signs that said AT, but I started noticing white blazes. I thought we were on a spur, like a dead-end spur trail up to the top. But I just looked at the map, and we are actually on the AT. So all the miles that I've hiked, this is my very first time on the AT. There's white blazes. AT continued over there, but there is an obvious vista over here. Check this out. Oh, this looks really cool. Oh, this is amazing. Look at this. The shelter we're trying to go to, we just passed some people going the other direction. They said that the last people that were staying there are on their way out right now. So we should have maybe a mile to get there. So for right now, we're going to skip the hike up to the top of Mount Rogers. We're going to go try to claim a spot in that shelter, get set up. Hopefully it's still empty when we get there, because there was a ton of hikers, backpackers back there at that Vista section. And yesterday I was able to pull up a map of historically right now where the all the AT through hiker bubble is at, and we're right in the middle of where the bubble was at. So I'm expecting to see a lot of backpackers through this section, but being it's still pretty early in the afternoon, maybe we'll be able to get us a spot in this shelter. It's a 2-story shelter, and there are pictures of people setting up 2 hammocks in the top level. I'm assuming the same thing's possible at the lower level. And then once we get set up, I'm just gonna day hike back up to the top of Mount Rogers. It's not too far. That said, she's probably gonna stay back at the shelter rather than where Schützen out, since we got like a 20-mile day tomorrow. I think I'm gonna have to keep the phone out for a few minutes. This is too good. We should only have about a quarter of a mile to the shelter. Or it's gonna be the Thomas Knob shelter. Pretty sure there's a stream there for water. And I saw, hopefully it's still there, they have a solar powered composting toilet. It look really nice with a view of the valley. Look at this fire pit. Look at all the trees that got cut down for firewood. Yeah. It looks like beavers have been back here with all these trees that have been cut down.
There's farm wire.
All these food bag lines here. It's 2 o'clock. There's this ladder, this straight up ladder is how you get up here. And well, obviously we wouldn't eat up here, but I'm gonna have to hand Schützen up to her, because obviously he's not climbing a ladder. I guess we can run lines through the rafters here to get hammocks hung. There's a sign that said the water over this way, and I found this vista. It looks like these blue blazes go somewhere apparently. That might be a bear box over there. I think there is a bear box. Okay, I can't imagine that there's water down there. So I'm gonna try. There's a bunch of different trails over here. Let's try a couple more and see what happens. So I didn't find the water, but somebody did confirm that it is down there. There's just a ton of campsites around here, all these fire rings. There's the bear box, right by another fire ring. Beth is gonna stay at the shelter with Schutzen, and I'm gonna just hike up to the top. Mount Rogers right there. Should only be about a mile and a half, pretty much exactly round trip to the top. Okay, this says the Privy is over this way. I wonder if it's still here. The composting Privy. It should be about 300 feet elevation gains at the top from where I'm at now. I think the top is supposed to be 5729 or something like that. Almost at the top now. And there's a spring all the way up here at the high point in Virginia. That's crazy. Good thing I don't have a pack on. So I'm either gonna have to crawl through there or find a way up and around. Let's see what's up here. This is a mess. I think I'll just crawl through. Just checking the guy at the GPS. The trail should be just over to my left, just a little bit. I can't get through all these blowdowns. This looks like maybe from that tornado last year, or that hurricane last year. Maybe just tore all these trees down. It's impassable. So the high point, according to what I read, is 5729. I'm 5727 feet. So I think if I stand on top of this rock, I'm still at the high point of Virginia. Yeah, I'm super close to what's listed as the summit, or the end of the trail, I should say. The trail just kind of dead ends right over there somewhere. But I think I'm pretty much at the high point right here. Yeah, I'm fluctuating 5729, 5731. So yeah, one more state high point to add to the list. Oh, here we go. Here's the official marker. Cool. We've just been chilling out here at the shelter for a couple hours now, I guess. And it's just been people constantly going past and kind of hanging out here at the picnic table behind me, and just taking breaks and stuff, and going down to get water and using the bathroom. This one guy just stopped, and he's through hiking, so we ended up talking to him, picking his brain for a while. He was really cool. Mike, shout out to Mike. Somebody left one of their Granite Gear 6. I'm not sure. Can't tell how long it's been here. But anyway, I was looking at this bear warning, and frequent bear-human encounters at campsites along this whole area. And they have learned to retrieve food hung in trees. So they got the bear boxes. That's why they got all these bear boxes here. Now, I'm on my way down. I'm going to follow these blue blazes down to try to find this water. But look at the view. The views just keep getting better. But I finally found the water right here. It's further down than I expected. But yeah, I'm not even gonna filter this. This is coming right out of the ground. I will throw an aqua tab in it though. It's getting close to sunset. In fact, I think the sun is down over the ridge. But anyways, so Beth had moved her hammock down here and hung it up diagonally across here, just because it was going to be easier to get Schutzen out to pee in the middle of the night than bringing him down the ladder and handing him down the ladder, I should say. And there's plenty of room in here. She had it like 3 feet off the ground or whatever, and you can see how much room's in there. So these 4 hikers came by. Pretty sure they were probably 3 hikers, and they were scoping out the shelter, and they had a dog, a big dog. And the one guy came back and was asking about whether that hammock was going to be hung up the whole night, or whether it was going to be hung up. I don't know. He was asking about something about the hammock being hung up, implying that they wanted us to move the hammock. There was nothing said after that, really, for the most part. He said something about this should be able to fit 16 people in here, and that could have fit definitely the 4 of them could have put their pads on the ground. Just to be cool about it, Beth moved her hammock back upstairs where it was in the first place. I'll be helping Beth get Schutzen down to pee in the middle of the night. We're going to call it a night. I mean, we're going to shorten things a little bit tomorrow, but it's still going to be a long day. We managed to get these 2 hammocks in here last night. And I don't know how many times I've hit my head off these rafters, and I'm probably not done hitting my head off these rafters. If anybody's watching this and they're looking for their ditty bag or whatever, there's a granite gear bag hanging on the outside of this shelter. It's been here all day yesterday. But it's super crowded. I don't think I've ever seen such a crowded backpacking area. There's people everywhere. I didn't use the food locker. I figured it was probably full to the rim. I used this, Beth gave me this earth sack, so getting used to hanging that, so I just hung that over in these woods over here. About 8 o'clock this morning, here's the view of the valley. We got a slightly altered route figured out, so about 16.5 miles, and I think Beth said 2,800 feet elevation gain. Here's the 500 marker for the no-bow through hikers. So here's a nice campsite right here. There's they do have bear blocks and water over there. I was just saying to Beth, I hope we run into no hurries somewhere around here. I need to get him in the video. So Mike was over here, and I forgot your channel, No Hurries?
No Hurries.
And what's your Instagram, man?
It's going to be Dude Copley, Dudecopley.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you can follow all my AT stuff on there.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we'll get you in the video and get you some Instagram views.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.
See you.
Still in the AT. This is incredible. Yeah, look at this. I think I have a new most favorite place to backpack. This is more scenic than Dolly Sods by far. It's just non-stop vistas along this section. Over there, there's an obvious trail. There's people walking. It almost looks like a road. I'm not sure if we're headed that way or not. I guess we'll find out in a little bit. Really busy over here with people with the wild ponies. Schutz is going to have to go on his leash because I'm not sure how he's going to react to this.
You want to open both these?
Yeah, I think we got to pull both up.
There we go.
That was the Virginia Highlands Horse Trail we just crossed over. Grayson Highlands State Park. Do not feed or pet the ponies. Subject to fine. This one's the male here. I got this section here. Keep the horses from going through. There's a privy over here. This is the wise shelter area. Look at that fire pit.
Yeah.
No second floor on this one.
Leave it, Schutz.
This is real near the wise shelter, so there's a good water source just north of the wise shelter. And this right next to the bridge, here's where the food locker is. A little different than the other one. We're at this intersection here. AT is going to continue up there. That way is the listed route that's on all trails for the 21-mile loop. But we're going to head over this way and do the 4 peaks, add the 4 peaks into things. So it'll be about an extra 7 miles. Now that we're off the AT, this trail definitely sees a whole lot less usage. You can see I'm going through all these leaves and around blowdowns. Shouldn't be maybe a half a mile before we turn off of this particular trail. Hopefully the next one is a little bit more well-traveled. We just hit 7 miles on the day. We're heading down here. Look at this, says deep mud, travel not recommended on this sign. So definitely not going that way. So this is End Bearpen Trail and Big Wilson Creek Trail. Here's our situation. We got down there a little bit further on that Bearpen Trail or whatever it was called. And it was starting to be a lot of blowdowns. Making damage from that hurricane from last year. And we were kind of getting the feeling that it was just going to keep getting worse, and we had no shortcut options to get to where we're going tonight. Once we got in there, we were going to be pretty much committed. So, I don't know, I'd say we went about a third of a mile down from the AT before we turned around. And we're on our way back to the AT right now to decide what to do from there. We're back at the AT intersection. So that goes to the Scales campground where our beer drop is. The AT continues up this way. We're gonna follow the AT because it's gonna bring us out at Scales campground anyways. either way, they're probably about the same distance. We figured this is more maintained going this way. We'll pick up our beer drop, go about another mile to our planned campsite. We'll set up a base camp, and then we're probably more than likely do a day hike to go see some of the wild ponies. Hopefully it's not too windy, you can hear me. We came up out of all that hardwood forest. We're back up into this open area. Really nice up here. We're coming down here, but I thought I saw this fenced in area. I thought it was like horses or something, but this is the Scales campground. There are people with horses. These are the kind of vehicles you need to get back on that road that we drove on. Jeeps and all these kind of vehicles like this. So yeah, there's bathrooms over here. I'm gonna check those out. Just to make a note, if you do see Scales campground on your map, you're trying to figure out an itinerary, it's not a like campground where you can hammock for one thing. It's a drive-to campsite basically, but you have to have like a 4-wheel drive vehicle, or at least to get out here, as you saw from the road yesterday. I did not realize when we did the beer drop that this was the camp. This was the campground. We're right next to it. Here's the rock and here's our beer drop. After we got our beer drop, we're getting off the AT, and we're headed up on the Crest Trail. The proposed campsite is right up there. We're gonna head down here. This is Cabin Spring Trail. So we're not sure if there's water at the proposed campsite. So we're gonna come down here and at least camel up. And if this looks like a nice campsite down here that we can hammock, we might just stay down here so we'll be close to the water. All right, here's what we found. We found the cabin. A dilapidated, locked up outhouse. Here's the spring. Nothing coming out of it.
There's water here.
Yeah, I'm not drinking that.
So
we're gonna go. All right, we're gonna go to the planned campsite and see what that looks like. Just look at this place. This is so incredible. But unfortunately, the only bad thing is we're getting pretty close to where this campsite's supposed to be at. I'm not seeing much in the way of hammock trees unless it's over in that area. I'm not thinking there's any water up here either. There are 2 bulls, like the full horns and everything, just coming to. No, there's 3 of them. Now there's 3 of them. I don't want them to see me. I got charged by one all the time. Let's hang by these rocks. In case we get charged, we can climb up on these rocks. I don't know. I don't want to find out. We just scoped out the campsite back there. We got a new plan. We're just gonna get to the nearest water and see. We're gonna get to Lewis Creek, or Lewis Fork, I think it's called. And I don't know where those bulls went. They were headed in this direction, so hopefully we're not gonna come up on them from behind. There are some hikers up here. We'll get the scoop from them. So those bulls just go off the trail. They're heading down over this way. So this one's right next to the trail. Schützen was trying to get at them. Look at it. There's another one. Hopefully they're used to being around people. It's a little after 3 o'clock. We found our campsite, and we're gonna just make this our camp. So we did a little over 11 miles, I think, today. At least what I got. And Beth has her trees picked out. And I'm going to do these trees here. Look at this fire pit. All this wood here. Some chairs. We got this down pine tree for some firewood over there. And we got a vista. Look at this. And unfortunately, there's no direct water here, but the water, we found some water. Just 5-minute walk back on the trail. So we'll go back and get that in a little bit. We both got our shelters set up. I got this one over here. That's got her set up over here. Just chill out for a little bit, and then I'll make a water run. I'm gonna check out the vista over here. We're hoping those bulls aren't gonna make their way over here. If they do, hopefully they'll just ignore us. There's the vista. That's east over there, so that's sunrise over there. Unfortunately, our sunset isn't too great over here, but it's all right. Maybe I'll try to get up early and catch the sunrise. And Schützen here decided to join me up on the rocks. Don't even go over there. Come on, Schützen. I just realized one of my camp chores. I'm going to get up into those woods up there and pre-dig my cat hole because there's no privies, nothing over here at this site. This is kind of like an intersection. There's a bunch of trails right around this area. We are off the AT, so hopefully it won't be too busy. He had to go on his leash because we had a visit over here from one of the horses, the wild ponies. And from the beer drop, I got Twisted Tea Black Cherry. Beth's got a Corona Light over there. Yeah. Now the rest of the pack's starting to show up over here. So right where my ground sheet is at, there's like an old flat pile of horse poop. I thought it was dried until I tried to kick it, and it was only the crust was dry. So hopefully my underquilt doesn't break in the middle of the night, or my hammock and my underquilt lands right in. Look, there's a little baby one over there now too. Horses are making their way a little bit closer to us now.
They're gonna be right up on us.
Here comes the little baby, third place. I think that's its mom right there. It's right behind. It's the same color. And this big brown one that's walking out, I think that might be the male or the whatever. He seems kind of protective of everything. And Schutzen's not happy about the situation. Okay, so yeah, the one up in the front here, that's a male.
So that one's a male, that one's a female.
This one's branded with a W.
Schutzen, come. Come on.
This one's keeping an eye on Schutzen. The baby's starting to feed off the mom.
Aww.
Can you see where you're at?
Oh, that's cute. Leave it. He doesn't like the way the horse is staring at him. It's okay.
Okay, Schutzen's way
Schutzen,
too
leave
close.
it. Come on. Come on. Leave it.
Schutzen's way too close to this horse.
Come on. Let's go this way.
I don't see anything. That looks like a female.
Oh, interesting. I know that one's a male.
Yeah, I saw the white one's a male. That's the only male that I see is the white one. He's probably like the leader of the pack, you know. He has his harem.
Yeah.
Came over from Europe. They're like the smaller breeds from Europe or something.
Come on. I got
The
you.
male, he disappeared around the corner by himself, and now he's back. He's just watching his girls over here. They're getting a little close to my view over here.
Leave it.
Hey, can you? This is my sleeping system over here. If you guys want to go somewhere.
I think we took their campsite.
Yeah. I like the color on this one here. It reminds me of like a sunburst guitar color. Got another feeding happening here. I was worried about this. This bull's headed this direction, and here comes the first one. And as soon as he saw us and these horses, he stopped, and now here he comes. I don't worry too much about the horses as these bulls. He's not sure what to do now. Look. Okay, this is only the second time I've ever pulled this out, and the first time was when I got in the middle of an elk herd. Yeah, this bull, I don't know if they see the horses. I'm sure they see the horses all the time, but yeah, that bull it went as fast past the horses as it could.
Yeah, it must be afraid of the horses. They can kick and shit.
Not like my pepper spray is going to probably do much against the bull. Maybe they'll just maybe they'll just give it a little scare for a second or two, but that's all I got up here. I did get charged by a bull one time, and it scared the crap out of me. You had to walk about, not even 5 minutes back down the trail to get to some water. But yeah, we got a fire going. And we had some people come in over here next to us, like a whole bunch of people. Some of them are out on the rocks having a birthday party. I heard them singing happy birthday. But, yeah, they're set up on like non-level ground over here, all these tents. They could have went over to that tent site over there and been on level ground. Not my problem right now. It's like almost 7:30. There's an entire herd of bulls came into our camp. I just turned around and they were here. They had 2 babies. The babies are going out. A bunch of them ran down that way. They've been eating out of the fire pit. They're eating the ashes out of the fire pit. This is crazy. There must have been like a dozen of them. I don't know what their obsession is with eating the ashes of the fire. Hi, bull. Hi there. They're all like tagged. They have like tags in their ears. Just like stay over there. Come on, bull, stay over there, please. Just don't come over here, okay? Just stay over there, kid. Hi, how you doing?
There's still one out there.
There's three of them out here. Look at this one. What is it eating in there? What is it enjoying out of a fire pit? Here comes another one. There's another one coming down the path. Apparently these ones are so used to people that they're so far ignoring me for the most part. Here comes another one. This one is the only one I've seen so far other than the babies that didn't have horns on it. There's another. There's two more now coming with horns.
Oh my goodness.
There's another one. With a baby. Look at the babies running. Oh shit, this one just gave birth. It still has the placenta hanging out.
Oh, dude, I don't want to see that.
Look at that. That one over there still has the placenta hanging out from giving birth. Here comes another one. Yeah, please stay away from my hammock. That would be great. There's just non-stop. There's been a couple dozen of them. There's just a bunch of babies now coming down over the hill. This one over here was getting mad at me.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep Schützen in to the last minute into the hammock,
Yeah.
literally, because like that's the only thing keeping him in. If he's gonna piss him off, though, when you start seeing him or start barking.
Yeah.
The thing you told me about that, I was about to put him on his leash and let him out.
I was about to head up on the hill to go use the restroom up there. They just scared the crap. They literally scared the crap out of me. This one here is lost. The herd is already gone. I heard this one up the trail around the bend. I heard it mooing to find the other ones, and the other ones moved down there to let them know where they're at. Sunrise was like 6:13 this morning. I set an alarm to try to get up to catch the sunrise over there, and I turned the alarm off after it went off. I didn't feel like getting up. So. Oh well. All right, let's see how bad this turned out to be. Putting my ground sheet right over top of this horse poop. It's gonna be bad. Strap it to the outside of my back and take it to the car wash, or throw it away. Valley in the morning. And we're all packed up and ready to go, so we'll be out here shortly. At 9 o'clock, we're heading out of camp. It's 61 degrees already. Headed back into the Lewis Fork Wilderness. Right there, our campsite is still in view. This is a campsite that's listed on, it's showing on the map as like a tent symbol. Pretty nice campsite. There's no water that I know of around here though. Yeah, you can make some hammocks work, tents. We are turning back onto the AT here. We'll make a left, heading toward Old Orchard Shelter and Scales Campground over that way. All right, we're just coming up to Old Orchard Shelter, Mount Rogers National Recreation Area. There's Privy over that way. This is a pretty nice campsite here.
Yeah, look at that. Schützen's already near home. He's like, is Schützen approved?
Also, just a little trail shopping for the new Nalgene. Also, just noticed this. There's also a spring right down here in the Blue Blaze Trail. So we're about to roll out of here and continue. We should be about halfway done for the day. Yeah, there's a bunch of there's a firing over there, firing over here, good hammock trees over here, good for tents over here, and 2 bear boxes. Good campsite. I would say if anybody does this same loop that we're doing and parks where we parked at, if you go the opposite way, go clockwise, this would be a nice short day to get to this campsite here. We're coming out to a parking lot. This is not the one that we are parked at. We have to cross the road and then we're gonna get onto a different trail. It'll take us back to where the car's at. This is the AT. I think we're turning off the AT right back there at the road. But I just wanted to check this out. This is pretty cool. It smells like fresh lumber too. You got a little crossing over there. Pretty nice. Well done. All right, well, we're not going this way though. This is the Fairwood Valley Trail. It's just gonna parallel the road and it'll bring us back out to the parking lot. As you can see, we're in the car on the way back, finished the hike. And yeah, this was definitely a very nice hike. I would rate it as moderate at the most. I mean, it's definitely not difficult. There was no hills that was really difficult. No climbing that was difficult. I really equivalent this. Equivalent, is that a word? Whatever, you know what I mean. It's dolly sods on steroids, basically. Got the big wide open fields, but this one has even better vistas because you have the mountains in the background. But there's no mud like dolly sods, which was nice. The cool stuff, obviously, was the wildlife on this one was the ponies and not the buffalo, the bulls. I would recommend, if you're going to do this trip, that don't do it while the AT bubble, hiker bubble is coming through, and don't do it on Memorial Day weekend. You know, pick a maybe a weekday in the middle of the week sometime when the bubble's not coming through. Water sources you might want to pay a little attention to if you can find out where the water sources are at, just to kind of keep gambled up on that. I'm gonna put I'll put the stats down below for everything that we did on the whole 3 days, and also then I'll put a screenshot of the GPS tracking that we did, and also and I'll put the stats from day 1, and stats from day 2, and the stats from day 3. And other than that, Shutson's coming up to see what's going on. Other than that, we'll call this one a wrap, and thanks for watching.